Historic Elgin is our next topic. By request, welcome to Bonfire Blessings. I want to give a giant shout out to Mr. E.C. Alft. When I was in college, this is my hometown, and this is by request. He sent me a signed copy of one of the Elgin history books. At the time, he was one of the best and best known historians of Elgin, and I sat on the board of a couple different organizations in college. There are 2 colleges in Elgin, and I'd graduated from Elgin High, so it was just a really kind thing he did, and it sent me on this quest into regional history and looking into Shalaga and specifically Elgin. So today we're going to do one of the books that he's written. He's written a series. Train tracks run through Union Station in Chicago, right? Out to Elgin. This is the Northwest line, all the way out to what we call the Quad Cities. Through Bluff City of Elgin to Moline on the west. This is the big river. It's the Mississippi River. Illinois is, of course, directly under Wisconsin. Yes, this is my hometown, and I hope you enjoy this. This is going to be just an overview, and I think I'll do a series on the region. The book itself that we're looking at today is too extensive for me it would take me hours to walk through it, so bear with me as you're probably going to feel like you're missing information as we go through. This is an overview. I'll go in deeper and connect them if you're so interested. Once home to a watch factory, a shoe factory, a cannery, a foundry, an old world sanitarium, a casket company, a shirt company. I could go on and on. Textile companies. Just list. Also a publishing house, 2 colleges, 1 private, 1 public, 2 public high schools, 1 on either side of the river, and a myriad of schools are in this town. It is a city. 30 years, there was 100,000 people, and it does continue to grow. Also, the region around it that we call Chicagoland, that used to be Shalaga, continues to grow. In Elgin specifically, there are over 20 old world churches that contain pipe organs. All right, let's go through this. So at the time of, say, the Great Fires, this is how most people lived. They built log cabins. Think like where President Abraham Lincoln grew up, a log cabin in Illinois, right? Well, at the same time, curiously, the city of Elgin had buildings like this. Our traditional timelines show these 4-story buildings were demolished 50 years after their founding. Men in top hats, again, standing on a street with horses pulled by, or wagons pulled by horses. No construction photos anywhere. Can't beat the copper top. Some people were living in cabins, and some people were living in these. So, my very serious question then is, who built these? Where did they come from? Why are the streets dirt and the streets not leveled? Why do we have mud flood windows if this is brand new construction? And if this is brand new construction, oh yes, mysteriously there were fires that burned them down, but some of them were just razed 50 years later. Like the city was done with them and they did away with them. There's a whole chapter on the watch factory, and I'll get back to that in a different video. But here's the watch factory. Just this clock did set the time for the United States specifically, and then it linked up with Europe by Big Ben in London. Old world, I would call it a power station. Look at the Antiquitech here. And for shits and giggles, here's a little person. We have to step up onto the second floor to get into this building. Why would a very small person need these big windows? This is built for a giant and repurposed. And I'm glad so many people found purpose working in a watchtower factory, making watches. Yes, the city of Elgin did grand things, and every large city did, but I have so many questions, right? This is called a planetarium. This is in the basement. It's an observatory. So the seating in here was in here, and classes could go in and look at a replica of the nighttime sky, and it would turn. 2 of the observatory's 4 clocks were in an underground room built of solid concrete that, of course, you had to walk up and into because it was on a hillside with buried windows. Just saying. The air pressure was consistent because there were glass tubes around them. One was a thermometer, one was a barometer. So the scientific equipment was all housed in. It was just a neat place to go, but how old was it? I don't know. This is how mail got there. Watch City, Illinois. Cool history, again, but looking back, I have to wonder what exactly was the history, what to trust. Even the historians are telling history from what they've learned, right? Okay, Sanitarium. This is going to have to be its own video. This is horrifying stuff. I do touch on this in my book. The book is linked down below. Yeah. It's traumatic. There are awful ghost stories of this place. It was set a little bit out of town. It is now annexed in the town, and it's a sports complex and a golf course because, of course, when we tear down or burn down buildings, we bury them and cover them with things like golf courses. But why were there so many ill people in the mid-1800s that we needed buildings this large? Just answer me that question. Was it for the people that remembered? And so we put them in there and experimented on them. And when they died away, we felt safe to burn that building to the ground. And please note, there are extensive tunnels under there that go to all of these beautiful historic homes in this city and other cities. Look at these places. They're phenomenal. Hundreds of them in this city. And most of them are made with red brick. We do not make them like they used to. The detailing in every single building, whether it was repurposed as a home or a school, almost every elementary school in this city was at one time an old world building, and they were just tremendous in size. Just beautiful buildings. And of course there was a fire that destroyed lots of them that were made of brick. I love that the timeline is there, right? But I'm rethinking who told the timeline and what do I really believe? These were all turned into homes, founded homes. Some were claimed to be built by a myriad of people, but when most people are driving around in wooden carriages at best, wagons most of the time, how did this beautiful ironwork get here? And just the phenomenal detailing and structuring, and it's amazing. Our founding fathers built some beautiful homes. I mean, like, is this for real? Okay, see, our time flew by today. I will go back and do this piece by piece. If you're interested in some specific part of Elgin, drop me a note, please. If you have happy memories, drop us a note. I have lots of memories of this town. I was a Gen X kid, so some of the changes that were happening in my generation, I didn't get to see the stuff of the 50s when the Sanitarium was running and everything was in its heyday. Everything in town was in its heyday. I think by the time this still stands in the middle of what is called Lord's Park, by the time I was grown, many of the buildings that are old world were either gone or put onto a historic register and falling apart or being refurbished, and the history had changed, and those who remembered how they really got there were dying away. I found this epitaph in the back of this book, and it's chilling. I want to read it to you. As you are now, so once was I. As I am now, so you must be. It's from the native culture in this land. Part of the song of Hiawatha was a Chippewa. Chippewa Nation was Wisconsin, but Wisconsin merged down and blended. We also have Wisconsin Some are artifacts found in St. Charles, Illinois, which is just south along the Fox River and what is now the Fox River Trail from Wisconsin down into Illinois. I'm going to leave you with that. As you are now, so once was I. As I am now, so you must be. There you have it. What is now Elgin, Illinois, from what was Chalaga, Illinois, and a native swampland, essentially, from a mud flood, maybe. We don't always know. That's the history I have for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave me your comments. If you learned something, tap the thumbs up. May you be blessed by the God who made heaven and earth. Bye-bye.